Dakota Johnson had always believed in the quiet elegance of her private life. Hollywood, with its flashing cameras and swirling rumors, constantly tried to pry into her world, but she kept her sanctuary guarded. That changed the day she agreed to share her home with Sam Heughan. To the public, it looked like an unexpected but charming arrangement. She was the ethereal star of indie dramas and blockbusters alike. He was the rugged Scottish actor whose role in Outlander had won millions of hearts. Friends whispered that it was only temporary, a convenient overlap of schedules, a shared retreat away from Los Angeles. But Dakota knew there was more to it. Sam was magnetic. His laughter could soften the harshest day, and his presence filled the walls of her Spanish-style villa in Los Feliz with warmth. He brewed strong coffee in the mornings, hummed Scottish folk songs while cooking, and often lingered in the kitchen late at night with stories about the wild landscapes of his homeland. At first, Dakota thought she had found a rare kind of peace. But as the weeks turned into months, strange cracks began to appear. One night, after a long shoot, she returned home to find Sam sitting in the darkened living room, a half-empty glass of whiskey at his side. His eyes weren't sad, more like haunted, as though he was carrying secrets too heavy to name. "Sam?" she asked gently, setting her bag down. He looked up, startled, as if pulled back from a distant place. Then, with a smile too practiced to be real, he said, "Just thinking, love. Go on, get some rest." Dakota wanted to believe him, but something inside told her not to. The first real clue came a few days later. She had been searching for one of her books in the study, an old copy of Rebecca, when her hand brushed against a leather-bound journal hidden behind a stack of scripts. She knew it wasn't hers. Opening it felt like trespassing, but curiosity won. The pages were filled with meticulous handwriting, notes about people she didn't know, places she had never heard of, coded phrases that looked almost military. One entry, dated only weeks before he moved in, sent a chill through her. "She trusts me. She must never know the truth. Not yet." Dakota slammed the book shut, her heart pounding. Who was she? Was it her? And what truth was Sam hiding? That night, she tried to study him differently. His careful choice of words, the guardedness in his eyes when she asked simple questions. The man who once seemed so open now felt like a puzzle box she was terrified to unlock. Yet, she couldn't walk away. Not yet. There was something intoxicating about the danger, something that pulled her deeper into the mystery of Sam Heughan. The turning point came when Dakota hosted a quiet dinner for a few close friends. Everyone laughed, the wine flowed, and Sam charmed the table with his usual effortless wit. But when one of her friends casually mentioned his trip to Scotland years ago, Sam's demeanor shifted ever so slightly. His jaw tightened, his gaze sharpened, and for a fleeting second, Dakota caught a glimpse of something feral behind his smile. Later, as they cleared the dishes, she asked, "Sam, what was that about? When Mark mentioned Scotland, you looked." He froze, dish in hand. Then he chuckled, too quickly. "Old memories. Nothing important." But Dakota knew better. That night, when she lay beside him in bed, listening to the steady rhythm of his breath, she whispered to herself, "I need to know who you really are. And that was the beginning of the end. The next morning, Dakota woke with a determination she hadn't felt in years. Sam was still asleep, his chest rising and falling peacefully, as if he carried no burden at all. She quietly slipped from the bed, her mind fixed on the journal she had hidden under her pillow. The words echoed in her head, "She trusts me. She must never know the truth." Dakota knew she couldn't confront him yet. Not without more answers. She spent the day on set, but her mind wandered constantly. Every time her phone buzzed with a text from Sam, casual, affectionate, ordinary, she felt a strange dissonance. How could the man who sent heart emojis and complained about running out of oat milk also be the man who wrote those cryptic notes? That night, when Sam went for a late run, she returned to the study. This time, she searched thoroughly. Behind the bookshelves, inside the desk drawers, even beneath the rug. And then, tucked into a hollow space at the back of the cabinet, she found another item, a small, locked box. Her hands trembled as she lifted it out. The wood was heavy, polished, and distinctly Scottish in style, with a crest engraved on the top. She tried to shake it. Something inside clinked, metallic. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Dakota nearly dropped the box. She shoved it back into the cabinet and straightened up just as Sam entered the room, sweat on his brow, his shirt clinging to him. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked, smiling faintly. "Just looking for another book," Dakota lied, forcing calm into her voice. His eyes lingered on her longer than usual. For a moment, she was sure he knew. But then he nodded, walked past her, and poured himself a glass of water. "Don't stay up too late," he murmured before disappearing into the bedroom. Her knees felt weak. The box was still there, waiting, but she knew she couldn't risk it again. Not yet. Days passed, and the tension grew unbearable. Sam remained the perfect housemate on the surface, cooking dinner, cracking jokes, kissing her softly before leaving for meetings. But now Dakota noticed everything. The way he always locked his phone, the calls he took in hushed tones on the balcony, the way he sometimes disappeared without explanation. The more she observed him, the more she realized, Sam Heughan was living a double life. The second revelation came unexpectedly. Dakota was filming a late-night scene when her co-star, a British actor she trusted, casually asked, "So, how is it, living with him?" She blinked. "With Sam? Yeah, must be strange, considering, well, everything." Dakota's pulse quickened. "Everything?" Her co-star hesitated, clearly regretting his words. "Never mind, just rumors. You know how this town is." But Dakota pressed. "Tell me what you've heard." He glanced around to make sure no one was listening. "There's talk that Sam's not who he says he is. That before Outlander, he wasn't just some struggling actor in London. He disappeared for almost 2 years. No one knows where he was, but when he came back, he had money. Connections. And let's just say, those weren't the kind of connections most actors have." A chill ran down Dakota's spine. She forced a laugh, pretending to brush it off, but her mind was spinning. That night, she confronted Sam indirectly. "Do you ever regret your past?" she asked as they sat on the balcony, city lights glowing below. Sam sipped his whiskey, watching her with unreadable eyes. The past doesn't matter. What matters is now. Even if it catches up to you. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Only if you let it. Dakota didn't sleep that night. She couldn't. The breakthrough came when she finally found the key. It happened by accident. Sam had tossed his jeans over the back of a chair before showering, and from the pocket, a small brass key slipped onto the floor. Dakota picked it up, her heart hammering. She knew instantly what it was for. The locked box. She waited until the next day, when Sam left for a meeting downtown. Alone in the house, she hurried to the study, retrieved the box, and inserted the key. The lock clicked open. Inside, she found a collection of items that froze her blood. A set of passports, each with Sam's face but different names, a black and white photograph of a man she didn't recognize, with the words, "Target confirmed," scrawled on the back. A folded letter, written in that same meticulous handwriting from the journal. Ideographic period. If she discovers the truth, the mission is compromised. Terminate if necessary. Dakota dropped the letter, her body shaking. Her whole world collapsed in that instant. Sam Heughan wasn't just an actor. He was someone else entirely, someone dangerous. And she was living under the same roof as him.